welcome back to Astrovision, Spirituality, and Tarot. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Drake and Nicki Minaj's synastry and looking at some of the aspects in between both of their natal charts. Now, I know that Drake and Nicki Minaj have never ever gave off the impression that they were in a serious relationship. I know that these two have always been collaborators. They've always been friends. So we're just going to be looking at the obvious aspects that could point towards their compatibility as hypothetical lovers or, just as them being friends and business partners. Just for a brief history with these two, they got their start from an extension through Lil Wayne, and he really put them on. And Lil Wayne basically gave Nicki Minaj and Drake a push into the music industry, and he imprinted them under his label. So Lil Wayne takes some credibility for that, and that's notably how these two are known amongst the public. And eventually they branched out and did their own thing. And obviously, before they even got branded under Lil Wayne's influence, these two had their own individual careers. Nicki Minaj was more so underground, working on her music, while Drake was an actor, and he was still a part of a Canadian TV show and a part of a cast. And then he branched out through his connections, met Lil Wayne, and became this rapper. So that's just a brief history between these two. So the first aspect that I want to call out in between Drake and Nicki Minaj is Drake having his sun be in Scorpio, conjuncting Nicki Minaj's Pluto, that's in Libra. And that really is a generational planet for the people who are born in that 80s generation. A lot of people you'll see in their natal charts, they'll have Pluto and Libra. These are the type of people to get involved and collaborate with darker things within life. So a gang, a cult, anything like that, all of those scorpionic, darker tone things, that is what this relationship can represent. Since this is Scorpio and this is Pluto, both of these energies are about the taboo and they're about morbid things. While Libra is more so going to be about partnerships and maintaining fairness, and Libra is also going to be about those pleasurables and the desirable things in life. This aspect can also play out to where everything that is done in the dark will eventually come to the light or be justified in some way, and that is due to Pluto being in Libra. So Libra is potentially going to bring some justice to those darker areas. So Nicki or Drake could have some private disagreements or secrets that could get exposed by people they collaborate with or people that they take a liking to. This could potentially play out to where they have to defend their character or defend each other's character or even their partners. And for example, this is seen with Nicki Minaj and Meek Mill when they were dating, eventually they broke up, and then you saw Meek Mill go join sides with his quote-unquote op, or somebody he was on bad terms with. He eventually switched up and started kissing Drake's ass, and it seemed like they both were exchanging hidden secrets that they had on Nicki Minaj. So these discussions that Meek and Drake could have had against Nicki Minaj, whatever beef or whatever hidden secrets that they had against Nicki Minaj, it potentially could have been damaging to her reputation or destructive because, it's the theme of Scorpio, it's the theme of Pluto. And more than likely, these potentially were just rumors, something that could have been made up out of spite, out of hatred, because Pluto can be like that. And again, Libra does have to deal with rumors. It has to deal with gossip as well. So this energy can really play out to where Drake will have a dislike or a hatred for Nicki Minaj's partners, or this can go vice versa. Nicki Minaj can have a hatred and a dislike for Drake's partners as well, and his friends or even his love interests. And also with this aspect, Drake and Nicki Minaj both can be jealous of each other when they're no longer single and they're losing that control, they're losing that possession of each other. This can produce some complications within their friendship and within their partnership, because more than likely they're going to be very playful and very flirtatious with each other in a sexual way. And once that person is taken and they're in a serious or committed relationship, that energy is going to be suppressed in a way. And since this is Pluto and Scorpio and Libra, and it's that strong conjunction, these two people are going to have an intense sexual playness with each other, and they'll be able to easily arouse each other. With them having this aspect, this definitely is going to play into them having some strong desirability between each other. Both Nicki and Drake could just have an intense platonic bond or some intense feelings about each other that's very mutual. And also, this aspect again can point to their affiliation in Young Money, and Pluto and Libra can represent Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne being that glue that bonded Nicki Minaj and Drake together because he is a Libra. So, sometimes astrology really can be literal when you really break it down. Another aspect to take focus on is going to be the fact that Drake's Saturn is in Sagittarius, conjuncting Nicki Minaj's Uranus, that is also in Sagittarius. So, with these two energies, this really can go different ways. Either Drake will be more reserved and restricted with this energy, and he'll find Nicki Minaj's freedom and individuality interesting. Or on the other hand, Drake could dislike this energy and be more conservative, and he could find Nicki Minaj unpredictable and unreliable at times. Nicki Minaj could find Drake to be too boring and bland for her liking. His philosophical viewpoints and cultural points could be boring to her. She could find Drake to be too traditional or too predictable. And since she has Uranus and Sagittarius, Nicki Minaj is going to be all about the unpredictable and chasing those shocking truths that are too big to keep amongst herself. So she's going to be all over the place. And if you know Nicki Minaj, allegedly, a lot of people try to put the booger sugar allegations on her, but I really just think she's very neurotic. If you look at her birth chart, she has a Virgo moon, and a lot of people with mutable energy can be neurotic. You know what I'm saying? They can just be a little off mentally, and it's just that they use their brain in a different way that produces their creativity. And their creativity, 9 times out of 10, is going to be abstract, is going to be seen as peculiar or queer or different in a way. So, with Nicki Minaj having her Uranus be in Sagittarius, Drake could just see her as a nut sometimes, especially since he has Saturn in this energy. He's just going to be more reserved. He's going to be more conservative and even a little critical. So even Drake himself could be more critical toward Nicki Minaj and her philosophies and how she views herself, even toward her religion and her cultural stances on things. And really, they both could clash in this area and be cold toward each other in this area and have some misunderstanding. So, since Sagittarius does represent multiculturalism and it does represent ethnicities and different groups and being bilingual, and it can represent being foreign and not being native to the current land that you may live in currently, or your family may not be native to the current country that you call home. And this energy does also represent religion as well. Drake could just be a little bit more critical toward Nicki Minaj in these areas of her life. And Drake could really find Nicki Minaj's neurotic energy to be too much at times, and he could prefer to have more control in this area. So when it comes to these gigantic ideas that are discussed and brought to the table, or being able to travel and tour together, he more so would prefer to have control because he could see her as a nut or just see her as chaotic in a way, or unpredictable and unreliable. And this even could play out to where Nicki Minaj and Drake are global superstars and they're worldwide and recognized amongst different countries and things like that. But since Nicki Minaj does have Uranus in Sagittarius, her cultural impact is going to be more so unpredictable because of that influence of Uranus. And that influence of Uranus in Sagittarius can point to Nicki Minaj having this worldwide fan base that's like this cult, and she's this leader of this cult, and a lot of her fans could be attracted to the fact that she creates these artificial characters that's really more so seen with her having these alter egos and things like that. And on the other hand, with Drake having Saturn in Sagittarius, this is going to be seen with him having a cultural impact that's more so built carefully and carried out through certain hard-hitting connections that he could have under the table or that he could have inherited in a way. because Saturn can deal with inheritance, and it also can just deal with you working hard and establishing these things on your own and traveling. You know, Drake did travel to the US to build his career. So Saturn and Sagittarius can represent that as well. And another aspect I wanted to discuss about Nicki Minaj and Drake's synastry would have to be Drake's Neptune and Capricorn sextiling Nicki Minaj's Saturn and Scorpio. So this isn't bad, you know, as an aspect necessarily. This for sure can point to some hidden connection between the two. This can point to some occult connection, if you will. But this aspect can play out to where Drake's empathy and his artistry is respected by Nicki Minaj, and they both learn from each other in some way. So Nicki learns how to be more emotional from Drake, and Drake learns how to be more disciplined and humble from Nicki. And with this aspect, Drake could be good at checking the temperature, but he also could struggle at acting off of emotional impulses. And he also could struggle with his artistic ideas, and his artistic ideas may or may not make sense for his brand or his image. You know what I'm saying? And Nicki Minaj, she could come in and help him structure that out. And I would say she's very good at that. She's a person that's very brand savvy, and she's always on brand, and she does create this whole persona that she really is vicariously still living out even into her 40s. So, like, she's really good at that. And so she'll be able to help Drake stay on brand. This is seen with Drake maintaining kind of like this gangster rap persona. Since Nicki Minaj does have Saturn in Scorpio, she actually comes from that life. You know what I'm saying? She actually comes from that life that Drake is trying to portray. So she will be able to help him structure that out and visualize it and bring that fantasy to reality. And this aspect can also play out to where Drake feels like it's necessary to check the blogs and read tabloids about himself or his friends, and he could really struggle with handling tough criticism and handling negative opinions or negative reviews about himself. And Nicki Minaj, on the other hand, could help him learn how to really be comfortable in the darkness and not care about other people's opinions and not care about what is being said about his reputation. And she's just going to be a good help. She's just going to be a good person to turn to, because someone who has Saturn in Scorpio, 9 times out of 10, a lot of people see them as a bully. A lot of people see them as a threat, or they see them as an enemy in a way. And so these people are heavily villainized, and they have a reputation for being a villain. Even if they're not, you know what I'm saying? Even if they're not, they could just have that reputation because they may surround themselves around a lot of villains. They may surround themselves around a lot of criminals or around a lot of people who have toxic reputations. And, you know, Pluto can be very transformative. That energy of Scorpio can be very transformative. And so this can transform Nicki Minaj's reputation and also make her a villain as well. And so with her having Saturn and Scorpio, she's going to be seen as this villain. And since Drake has Neptune and Capricorn, he's going to get written off as more empathetic. People are going to see him as soft and more sweet. They're not really going to see him as a villain or anything too masculine or too harsh. Nicki Minaj does have a lot of masculine placements in her chart. Definitely comment down below if you guys want me to do a natal birth chart on Nicki Minaj. I for sure can do that. You know, I am a fan of her, but these last few years, I've just been looking at her with the side eye. A heavy side eye, like, girl, what's been going on, you know? But I for sure can do a natal reading for you guys if you want that. Definitely comment below. But back to this synastry reading for you guys. Basically, with this energy of Nicki Minaj having this Saturn and Scorpio, she's going to be able to call Drake's bluff when he's acting too tough. You know, when he's acting too gangster around her or trying to hype up his persona around her, she's going to be like, newsflash, buddy. Here's your reality check. You already know how Nicki Minaj is going to be. She's a Sagittarius. She's going to be truthful. She's going to call his bluff when he's doing too much and when he's trying to portray this street thug gangster image that he's crafted for his rap career. She's gonna see right through it, and she's going to bring him a reality check. And with Drake having Jupiter and Pisces squaring Nicki Minaj's Sun in Sagittarius, this aspect can be an indicator of Drake's philosophical viewpoints about religion, art, music, fashion, spirituality, and all those things. This could clash with how Nicki Minaj projects her ego and how she asserts her creativity and her confidence. And since Nicki Minaj is known for calling herself this queen, and she's known for really practicing this self idolization and practicing this self worship, his Jupiter and Pisces could really clash with this energy, and Drake could really just find Nicki Minaj to be blasphemous at times and even demonic in some scenarios. He could find it annoying with her calling herself the queen. Drake could really dislike the fact that Nicki Minaj is overly egotistical and sits on this high horse, and she calls herself this queen and likes to be worshipped. He could really just find a disdain for that and see that as blasphemy towards the Lord. And I do know that Drake is Jewish, and not to go too deep into that, but allegedly they have a strong hold on the hip hop industry and on the music industry in general. So that's a connection within itself. But also with that square, with Drake having his Jupiter and Pisces square Nicki Minaj's Sagittarius Sun, this could play out to him being a hypocrite with this energy, because he also could enjoy being worshipped and enjoy indulging in some self idolization as well. But since it's Jupiter and Pisces, this is going to be secret. This is going to be something that's hidden. A lot of people probably do worship him and do idolize him, but it's something that he doesn't brag about. When you have Jupiter and Pisces, you tend to know how to keep huge secrets. These are the type of people that know how to keep those secrets to themselves. So he's going to be someone who is capable and has the potential of being idolized and being worshipped. But since it's Jupiter and Pisces that Drake is working with, this energy isn't about being blasphemous or self-worship. This energy is more so about being grateful and being overly empathetic towards religion and towards spirituality and learning to gain some wisdom within those areas. So just with this squaring Nicki Minaj's Sun, he really could have an extreme dislike for the fact that she sits on this high horse and tries to portray this godly figure. And even if it is a costume and it's a part of her stage persona, Drake could still have some secondhand embarrassment for her and find these qualities about her personality and how she projects herself very dislikable. And to be honest, with the aspects that I came across while looking at their synastry, Drake and Nicki Minaj really don't mix well. They probably have some triggers to pull when they want to hurt each other's feelings from time to time. These people definitely have some aspects that have to carefully be combed through. These are the type of people that potentially would have to walk on eggshells around each other, and especially as business partners, just to, really push the button and get the project done. They probably have to suck it up and keep their words to themselves, keep anything that isn't nice that they want to say to themselves, because with their aspects, they don't have any enjoyable aspects. There's just a lot of platonic energy going on. And to me, that's just really what it seems like. It just seems like they have a platonic relationship that's rich with history, and that can potentially be built on the fact that they're both musicians. They both occupy a space in hip hop, and were a part of a generational music group that was very, very popular. So just alone, they can have a platonic relationship in regards to that. But from looking at their aspects, I'm pretty sure Drake and Nicki Minaj do not F with each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Nicki Minaj and Drake do not F with each other like people think. It's all just the facade that they probably keep up with in regards to them being a unit at a point in time and them having that history. They could have some loyalty to Lil Wayne, and that's what, keeps the thread together. That's basically what's keeping them together, is that link right there, that connection to Lil Wayne. and probably the Young Money, Cash Money affiliation that they have to like Birdman and whoever else is a part of that business. So without that platonic link, I'm pretty sure that they both could easily move on from each other and write it off as just business. But since they do have a platonic link, they're always going to be tied to each other in a way. They're always going to have a moment or a memory that they could relate to that might remind them of each other. And it will be a very deep and intense one. So that's all for this video. I'm going to end it here. Stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.